Good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here tonight with the live video, and I just messed up the whole introduction. But we are here. Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday. I don't know what's today's date. The 9th? 9th? April
Sure.
9th?
Sounds good.
April the 9th. We'll go with that, right?
Sounds good.
But how is everybody doing tonight?
We've got California Linda says, hello, everyone. Hello, Chris and Tiffany. I enjoyed seeing Tiffany's hummingbirds this morning.
Tiffany be loving those hummingbirds.
Yes.
She started off with like one feeder a couple years ago, and it has now grown to she's got 6 feeders in the front yard now, and an entire flock of hummingbirds.
Yes.
So, and they're getting very used to us being out in the yard because they fly around your head and they come up real close to your face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure one's gonna peck me here one of these days.
Nah.
But they are there. But how is everybody doing? How has everybody's week been? You know, we had a big celebration this past weekend.
Yes.
Nellie got married.
Nellie got married.
So congratulations to Martin and to Haley on your wedding this past weekend. Got the pictures, look really, really good. We've gotten pictures from Chica. She has been down in Mexico, sending us some awesome looking pictures, making us very, very jealous.
Yes. So Texas Cruisers here. Good evening. I almost forgot to tune in. I was busy watching hummingbird videos someone posted.
I don't know who that could have been.
Attila's here. Evening to you too, Rick and everyone. Nellie's here. Good day. Hi, fam. Dilly, hello all, and Connie, ahoy mateys, congrats to the newlyweds.
Absolutely. So some exciting stuff. People on cruises, a wedding. It's been a really good week. So what has been going on in the cruising world? You were in charge of cruise news this week. What's been going on with
that? Carnival named their newest ships. Sure. Yeah. Carnival had us a name.
You see.
Nellie says Chica was rubbing it in. Connie also made me jelly on her cruise.
Oh, yeah. Connie was sending us some really awesome pictures, too. Yeah, lots of good pictures over on the Facebook page. Love to see it. People out cruising, people out having a wonderful time. And here we are still waiting, counting down the clock to our next cruise.
James is here. Hello, Chris and Tiffany and all high seas cruisers. Nellie says, I am sorry. That mahogany name change is weird.
Yeah. Isla Tropical is going to be Mahogany Bay's new name.
Okay.
And it is supposed to be an homage to the fact that it's along with their new ship themes, you know, the Festival, the Tropical, and the Isla Tropical. They said that's because of the hummingbirds. As a matter of fact, you know, nice tie-in for this week's show. That the hummingbirds, Roatan is one of the largest hummingbird populations, they said, with over 20 different varieties of hummingbirds. And so Mahogany Bay is going to become Isla Tropical. But now we've been to Mahogany Bay. I thought Mahogany Bay was beautiful. I liked the way it was. I liked the beach area, but they're going to add a beach club. They're going to add swimming pools. What do you think of all that? They're going to turn it in.
Don't mess up what they already have going.
Put that stuff somewhere else.
Yes.
That's true.
What they have going is great. In my opinion.
The port area, I thought the way it is right now, it's really beautiful. You know, you got the shops and everything over here. Of course, you can get your locally made rum cakes there. If you go into the back there with the locals in that far back end, you enjoy the coffee there.
Yes.
And then you take that nice little walk, and we went through the woods, through the little nature trail they have heading over to the beach area. I thought that was...
Yes, lots of nice, relaxing places to stop and just enjoy
and
the
they had
view.
The swing benches. Yeah, then you hit the beach side where now you got your sand, your fun, your chairs, your water, restaurants, get yourself a beer, mixed drink, whatever you want. So yeah, if they put in a beach club area there, I hope it's away from what already exists. Don't mess with what's already there.
Yeah.
Mahogany Bay was nice the way it was.
Yeah. Bob's here, says, good evening, fellow cruisers. Nellie says, Isla Tropical to me is a Bahamas type name. Texas Cruiser says, I like the names of the two new Carnival ships. Now, let me ask, is this the two Carnival ships that you were telling me they're going to try and pack 8,000 people?
No. So this is the next two XL class ships. Okay. So you're going to have the Mardi Gras, the Celebration, the Jubilee, the Festival, and then the Tropical. Then they start Project Ace. Project Ace they're going to be 223,000 ton vessels, the largest Carnival's ever had. And we're talking Oasis class size here. And they are capable of holding up to 8,000 passengers, approximately 8,000 people on a.
No. Nellie says, adding stuff there is fine, but a name change for no reason is odd. Obviously, the ship Tropical is coming from Miami. How do those go hand in hand?
Well, I mean, is it any different? I think it's like their whole rebranding of their private island experience, because, of course, they're adding Celebration Key. They're renaming Half Moon becomes Relax Away, and now Isla Tropical, which Isla, I think is okay. To me, that strikes me as like South American, right? Because remember Jurassic Park, that was on all on Isla. I forget the exact names of the island, but they were Isla Islands.
Yeah. Maybe they're changing the name because people will think it's a new port.
I don't think necessarily people think it's a new port.
Cruisers might.
Maybe, but they're rebranding just like all the other cruise lines. They can do cruises now that go to Celebration Key, Relax Away, and for a longer one, they can hit Isla Tropical, right?
Yeah.
That's all the money that stays there. Remember, that's the theme for cruise lines these days, is to create more private islands that they can go to and basically bank all that money in there. And of course, not every place on the planet wants a 223 ton vessel. They're already having problems in some places. They've got to create their private islands. I think that is their goal, is to have a place for these ships to go. Is other cruise ports are like, no.
Attila says, Mahogany Bay upgrade, yeah, it'll be nice. I hope, crossing my fingers, a pool lagoon area will help for those who hate sandy buns.
Yeah, I'm perfectly content and happy with that. Just build it back and don't take away.
Yeah.
Add to, don't take away, and I'd be happy with it. Because I like Mahogany Bay. I thought it was beautiful as is.
Mm-hmm. Misty's here. Howdy, all.
Welcome.
Attila says, 8,000 passengers. Whoa, hold your horses. That's a lot of folks.
It is. I mean, the Oasis class ships are not even holding 8,000 people. And Royal Caribbean did a really good job on their bigger ships with being able to disperse the crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Will Carnival have the same success?
Nellie says, Project Ace smaller than Icon, but more people than Icon class. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, on Royal Caribbean, they have basically the two sections that come up and the center is kind of empty. Yeah. Royal Caribbean's Carnival's not planning to have that empty section. One whole complete ship.
Matilda says, but if it's a bigger ship, maybe they'll fit okay.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
But that's still 8,000 people. That's still 8,000 people that got to get off in a port when the ship docks. That's a lot. There's going to be a line. There's going to be a crowd, unfortunately.
Nellie says a lot of people on Carnival pages had to Google Isla Tropical because they thought it was a new port. For new cruisers, they're not going to know any better unless they research. But
if they're a brand new cruiser, they wouldn't know Mahogany Bay, though, either.
True.
Right?
Ray's here. Hello, good evening, guys. Dilly's here. I'm happy with 2,000 people, 8,000. I'm not thinking so for us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'll have to try it. I'll have to give it a go and see how it is. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was skeptical about Oasis class. Pleasantly surprised to be wrong, and that I actually really enjoy them and like them. So,
Poor Chris is still sitting at work,
oh,
but he doesn't mind big ships. But 8,000, that's a big hard pass.
yeah. I mean, that's
We'll
see.
I would have to say that's a hard pass.
Now, oddly enough, though, the Carnival was so proud of when they put the roller coaster, the Bolt, on the Mardi Gras, the celebration of Jubilee. They're already taking it off. The next two XL class ships will not have the roller coaster. They're increasing the size of the water park.
More people are probably going to go in the water park because they can keep that open more.
Well, they say it's going to be a little more interactive. It's going to have and be able to be used for some nighttime entertainment and be open at times during the evening, parts and sections of it. So it'll provide more entertainment on the ship. I'm just wondering, was that Bolt not as successful as they thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Is it not as popular, or maybe it's really maintenance heavy? Because I've heard it's been shut down on cruises here and there for maintenance, and maybe that didn't quite work out the way they thought and way they hoped, and so they're like, get rid of it while we can.
So Ray's here from Nag's Head. Attila says, right, Dilly, I'm most happy with 2,000 to 3,000 people. 8,000, that's tough to see how that works. Misty said 8,000, that's more people than the town I live in. Yeah, that's more than the town I work in. Texas Cruiser says, I think there will be more public spaces on the Oasis class and Icon class than the Project Ace ships.
Probably.
Nellie said, my friend did Jubilee and he said that they had issues with crowd disbursement. So imagine 8,000 if it doesn't have some separation like Oasis class.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key, because I've heard that too, that the XL class ships for Carnival aren't spaced as well, and that it's created some crowding, some bottlenecking, and things like that.
Well, my thing is you see how bad it is. Everybody rushes to the dining rooms when it's mealtime. And I know there's 2 or 3 different dining times, but that many people, I'm going to lose my mind. And then, like you said, trying to get off in these ports, everybody's in a hurry. They have excursions, and it just...
Let's see, and where I would say that is a possibility, it depends. Have they learned the lessons that Royal Caribbean is teaching? Because you can go on these Oasis class ships, and there's 6,000 plus people on these ships. Right? You're not rushing for dining. There's always a place that's not crowded that you can eat. They spread it out enough. I never really felt like there was an issue getting on and off the ship in ports when I did Allure of the Seas. I think there's lessons that Royal Caribbean is teaching from their big ships that Carnival was to actually look at and see how it's done, and not necessarily try to reinvent the wheel that didn't work.
Yeah.
They could be successful.
Texas a Cruiser is agreeing with Nellie. Yeah. Nellie says, Rick and I saying same thing. We are one, buddy. Attila said, that's the key, Rick. Need lots of public spaces to disperse people. Texas Cruiser says, no, the sky is not falling. Nellie and I agreed on something. 8 coming off and 8 going on. That's a traffic jam in the making, according to Ray.
It could be. If they don't have a thought or a plan in their head to get those people on and off in a reasonable manner, knowing exactly how people are going to be, because you can put out all the instructions and stuff that you want. Don't crowd, don't rush, and people are going to do it anyway. They got to put a plan in ahead of time, have a way to negate exactly what cruise passengers are going to do.
Yeah.
just like Disembarkation Day. They issue all the instructions in the world, and if everybody followed them, it'd be smooth. Nobody follows them, it seems like. They all push, crowd, rush, jam the elevators, jam the hallways, sit on the stairs, and it's chaos.
Yep. James says, I'm wondering how many passengers will be the stopping point. 8,000 plus. How many crew? Yeah, with that many passengers, you got to have at least I would say 3,000 to 4,000 crew.
Probably not. They will try to do it with the absolute minimum amount of crew they possibly can. Means longer lines, longer waits, room stewards having to clean more rooms. You know that's coming.
Yeah. Misty says, unfortunately, I will miss your live next week. I will be in Cocoa Key. Sorry about the net bragging. I fly out Sunday.
Well,
there's no reason to be sorry about bragging.
No, because when we're in Cocoa, when we're in Cocoa Key, we're gonna brag.
Francis Jackson is joining us. Hello.
When we're in Cocoa Key, we're gonna be sending a live video of us enjoying Cocoa Key.
Attila says, I worry the A ships will have a yacht club type space for the top paying customers, and that takes space away from the lower paying folks who get sardine canned in there.
That's because we're steerage. But yeah, they might do something like that. I mean, of course, you know they're going to have their. I don't know if it'll be top tier, but there'll probably be a suite specific section like yacht club.
Yeah.
You know, a yacht club type thing. That way they can charge. They're not going to have some big old section that's included. They'll have a big old section they can charge you more money for.
Chris at Misty says, not bragging. It is what it is. I'm jealous. Have a blast. California Linda shares the newest may soon wear off. One or twice a cruise is sufficient. However, I always look forward to the water slides. Not me.
Yeah, that's just because you and water slides have never been friends.
No. Nellie wants to know what ship, Misty? Texas Cruiser says, mark it on your calendar. Bob says, enjoy. California Linda at Misty, have fun. We're Alaska bound in 3 weeks.
No, that's a jealous one for sure.
Yes. Texas Cruiser says, on the Ace ships, the passengers in steerage will be pressed into KP duty.
You must clean your own cabin.
Yes.
No, you have to clean your neighbor's cabin.
There you go.
You know, you remember back in school when you had to pass your test to your neighbor to be graded?
Yes.
That's kind of like that. You have to go next door and clean your neighbor's cabin and so forth.
Yes.
You're pressed into room steward duty.
Nellie, California Linda, my sis was in Santa Barbara today and saw Grand Princess in the distance.
Awesome.
California Linda shares it may be like princesses were the first DI.
Mm-hmm.
Misty says, Liberty of the Seas out of Fort Lauderdale this week. It's taking forever. Yes.
Of course, that last week. Every week I look at our countdown. I'm like, God, it's only been a few days. I mean, in reality, it has only been a few. But still, yeah, I'd like to look at it one day and it'd say 1:30. Then I go look at it the next day and it'd say 5.
Yeah.
There's really nothing, you know.
Connie says, steerage passengers have to peel potatoes for the dining room.
Say, baby, even on a cruise, you could do dishes.
I'm going to hit you. Bob says, loved Liberty, sailed on her 5 times. We've been on Liberty. Mm-hmm. We really enjoyed her.
Did like Liberty.
Texas at Misty, Liberty of the Seas will be amped before she arrives in Galveston next year. Aliens here. Online check-in for our cruise is this Saturday. It's getting real now.
Yeah, it is.
Also, good evening, all.
Oh, I want that feeling. Our check-in is until like June 2nd.
Yes. He's trying to get the dog's attention.
He's doing his own thing. He's over there busy snacking on himself at this particular moment. But yeah, so Carnival dropped, like I said, dropped all of that different kind of news this week. They're going to put they're going to put a Conquest class ship in Baltimore. Mobile is going to sell year round, which is actually pretty good because I think Mobile I liked the Mobile. I liked selling it there.
California Linda shares that perhaps disembarking will be handled like Princess. Those with ship purchased excursions disembark first, then everyone else.
Time will tell for sure.
Yeah. Nellie says 32 days until Celebrity Beyond, and then Freedom May 19th, honeymoon cruise. Yay. Texas Cruiser, I have sailed on Liberty quite a few times and absolutely love her. My first sailing on Liberty was 13 days. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm. But still.
Nellie says, who stays up till 12 a.m. check-in time? I do.
We do not.
No.
Absolutely do not. I will wake up in the morning and I'm pretty content with what's left.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm going to be doing an experiment here when we sail on Harmony of the Seas. I'm going to try something.
Uh-oh.
See, we normally get on early. We're normally in after all of the priority stuff. We try to get on first. Usually we're on board by about 11:15. Well, for Harmony, we are not going to try to board the ship till about between 1 and 1:30. That is our goal. Because I have this theory that if we get on right around 1:30, that the terminal should be fairly empty. Not that Galveston's Royal Caribbean terminal is ever super busy, but we're going to be able to get right on the ship, pretty much walk on. We're going to be able to go straight to our cabin because it's 1:30 and they'll be available. And we don't need to, ask the room steward to leave for 45 minutes so we can take a nap on a dirty bed. They only do that on Carnival. But we'll be able to drop our bags right at 1:30, hit our muster station, go get something to eat, and I think it will be less crowded. I think we'll even be able to get elevators to get where we need to go right around that time because everybody's going to be heading to their cabin to go check that out. And we're just going to be able to eat and everything like that without a whole bunch of crowding. What do you think?
Now, here's the catch, guys.
There's no catch.
It all sounds like a great plan.
She thinks I'm going to get impatient.
But Chris is very impatient. And Chris wants to be the first one on the ship. So we will actually see if that actually happens. Because, yeah. He's like ready to check out of the hotel at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they haven't even started disembarking yet.
Once. One time that happened.
More than once.
That's why I like staying over closer to the port, like at the harbor house, so I can just go stand out on the pier and watch them come and go.
You're gonna have to move the thing down so I can see.
Well, you're in control of this part.
Let's see. Who's Austin Nelly? I will be on Beyond in July for our 35th anniversary cruise. That's from Chris.
Awesome.
Texas Cruiser says that's cool, Nelly. I hope we get Beyond here in Galveston.
Now that would be extra cool. I would definitely book that ship.
Chris said I did Freedom Christmas this past Christmas. Loved it.
We did Freedom. We've been on Freedom. She still had a whale tail at the time.
Yes. Alien says absolutely. We'll be checking in at midnight this Saturday.
Yeah, you won't catch me up at midnight too often.
No, 9 o'clock is bedtime. Attila the Fun. Anyone going to the new Half Moon Key with the new dock? No more tenders. They're soon, so glad.
October 2026. We will be there with the new dock.
Yes. Alien said midnight is quite early for me, though. Oh, Lord, no.
Tiffany goes to bed at 9 o'clock.
I went to bed at like 9:30, 9:45 the other day, and the next day was rough. It was really rough.
When you're a little kid, you got 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock bedtime. You're just mad at the world. Can't wait to grow up, become an adult, and stay up as late as the hell you want, right? Then you reach a certain age, and boy, you get that 9 o'clock bedtime, don't you? You're like, what? Dang, I had it so good.
And it all started with my son. because his bedtime was 9 o'clock. So I would shut the house down and go hang out in my room. And then I started laying down, and then we were falling asleep. And then he graduated, moved out, and it just never stopped. 9 o'clock, it's like it's bedtime. So Chris says, I stay up for the early check in. I like to maximize my vacation time.
I know a lot of people that say they do that. I have never one time done that, and we still get on the ship by 11:15 pretty consistently.
Texas Cruiser says, I wait up till midnight too for check in time. Reservation must be in an alternative universe. Nellie and I are agreeing way too much.
The multiverse has infected our channel.
Alien at Attila. The fun, our cruise goes at Attila the Fun. Our cruise goes there, but at only 2.5 weeks away, we'll be taking a tender for sure.
Yeah, in 2.5 weeks, you still be taking a tender.
Nellie said, Rick, this is a weird day. Weird, I tell you. Until 1 p.m., I will try next time. I think it'll be super quick. Oh, wait, parking. I like getting a good close spot since we drive in.
We do too, but I book my parking reservations ahead of time, and I don't mind a little bit extra because I've noticed too that if we get there super early in the Royal Caribbean lots, in Galveston anyway, usually there's still people coming off the ship as we're trying to park. So we have a lot of people in the parking lot that are still getting off. And we're trying to park. We usually still end up about the same distance away that we would anyway, I think. But as long as you have your reservations ahead of time, which we will, we're guaranteed a spot. So
Attila says 1 p.m. I will try next time. I think it'll be super quick. Oh wait, we already read that. Nellie says, I want early. I want to maximize my cruise.
I want to maximize my not frustrated over people fighting to get into elevators and pushing and shoving in the buffet, very first thing. Like they've never been on a vacation before in their life.
It's Cruising Karen is here. Hello, everyone. Ray says, Chris, I'm with you, but Tiffany is right, and I would be standing at the door.
Truth is that there's a good chance I'll be standing at the door too. I do not have a lot of patience right before a vacation. As soon as I'm on vacation, I'm ready to go.
There's been times when we've left many hours before we were, days before we were.
That was Disney, and we left. I got really excited. We left 2 days early.
Yes. And when we went to South Dakota, we had planned on leaving at this time, and we left like 6 hours earlier. Nobody slept.
Everybody was ready to go.
So yeah, we get it.
It wasn't just me.
No. Attila says, Kevin, yeah, maybe next time. It's still not done for sure. Cruising Karen says, the more I cruise, the less need I have to be the first one on the ship. Texas Cruiser says, I want to get on board at the earliest time. I do not want to waste a single shipboard minute.
I get that. But I got to run this experiment. For me, it's an experiment. It's a filming experiment because I want to have on film if it's really any different. Does it make a difference if you get on early or late? That's kind of going to be the theme of that particular video. I've got videos planned out months in advance for this cruise. And that's one of the ones I'm going to do is an actual test to see, does it make a difference? Because we got on early a bunch of times. So now we're going to see if we get on later, is it less stressful?
Yeah. Chris says, be right back, heading to the house. Yippee! Attila says, right, don't try to park too early when everyone is still on ships, but not too late when the lots get full. I should pay and reserve a spot too, I guess.
Yeah, because one time I didn't know about paying ahead at the Royal Caribbean lot. I didn't know, because when we parked at the Carnival port lots, never ever paid ahead. Never had a problem. And it was like the first or second time we went to do Royal Caribbean. I did not prepay. I got to the lot and they were like, oh, we're full. And I got turned away. So I've never made that mistake again. So yeah, anytime Now we just prepay our parking ahead of time.
Yes.
I want that guarantee.
Andres here says, I have two first-time cruisers going, I have two first-timers going on a cruise with me. What would you recommend for them? Motion sickness medicine.
Have fun. Try a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Relax. Enjoy yourself. Go with the flow.
Now, what do you mean by recommend? That's kind of a broad question.
Yeah. Well, my biggest recommendation for any cruise that you go on, if no cruise is perfect, they may have a certain expectation in their mind. With cruising, sometimes you got to go with the flow. Weather can alter your course. It could rain a day you don't want it to rain. You never know.
And if it's raining, the pool's empty. It's a good time to swim, and you get the pool to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We've done that.
But go with the flow. That would be my, try some foods they've never heard of. Look at the menu. Oh, I don't know what this is. Eat it.
Nellie says, you run the experiment. I'll already be on the ship. Desiree says, I'm that way myself. I don't want to miss a single moment myself on the ship. Got to see everything and everyone.
But this is a good example of why I want to do this, because a lot of people do say that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get on early. I want to experience every minute on the ship. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that's when everybody's trying to crowd the elevators, because everybody wants to go up and eat. Everybody, they all want to ride. You've seen it a million times. Well, not a million times, 20 times. But it's the same every time. Crowded, because everybody wants the same thing. Nothing wrong with it. But that's why I'm curious, if we go at 1:30, just because the room's open, everybody's going to be heading to their rooms. We should have our run of the ship for the most part.
Yeah.
Then we go to sail away party.
Texas Cruiser says, I've been cruising for over 37 years and I'm still like a kid at Christmas waiting to get on board. I honestly am too. I get all excited, and then I know he's back there filming and he's like, all right, get ready for that big step, and it's like you step on the ship and everything just melts away.
Mm-hmm. And that first step is always super exciting, especially because we try to do a different ship every time. So it's always a brand new step. What are we going to see? How's this ship going to feel? Because even if they're in the same class, they got different personalities. And yeah, so that first step on the ship is always like, yay.
Yes. Rick.
Oops.
Agree again. Even if I've been on a ship multiple times, I get to see the ship again. Yay. Bob says, I agree. Rick, Seawood is here. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Attila, I know I'm getting the express lot for Carnival. It's right next to the terminal, but no special reserved spots, just access to the lot somewhere, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's that lot that's on the other side of the railroad tracks that you can just walk to.
Yeah. So Seawood,
we never stay in that one.
No. C is here. He says, I know this is a cruise channel, but I have to say something, and I do apologize. The Astros suck.
I don't watch the Astros, so okay.
Yeah.
Feel free.
We're not sports fans.
But there could be some sport fans in here, and you could have an argument over that.
Mm-hmm. James says, oh boy, Rick and Nellie agree again. Now something's not right here.
Too many times in a row. All right, good night, everybody.
And I did miss a comment because Misty, I think it was Misty. Yeah, Misty, have a great night. All dinner time. We'll rewatch the video. Have a great night, Misty.
Yeah, have a good one, Misty. Thank you for being here.
Cruising Karen says, another reason I'm not rushing to get on the ship, the rooms aren't ready. See, and that's another thing. So I'm kind of hoping he actually does this experiment, because I carry a backpack, and that backpack is very heavy because it's all his monsters.
I'm busy carrying cameras.
So yes, I hope, go straight there. Drop that backpack off.
Right?
Yes.
That's my theory, is that we're going to be able to walk on, go right to the room, drop our bags off. Usually you need to use the restroom by then. You've got your restroom right there. And then boom. We don't film the room or anything. We just drop our bags, go eat, mess around a little bit, right? Then we go
Mhm.
back to the rooms, do the room film and all, shoot the video we got to shoot, and boom, it's sail away party time.
Yeah. California Linda shares on Embarkation Day, we never eat at the buffet, too crowded, especially when there are other dining venues available. My problem is I forget about those other venues. And by the time we get on the ship, I am so hungry. I don't care. I really don't care. I'll stand there and hold my plate, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, I doubt we'll hit the buffet, that one. I just use the buffet as an example. We have a guaranteed room for Harmony of the Seas. So we don't know precisely what floor we're going to be on yet. We'll kind of probably pick our restaurant based on that because they're kind of spread out on Harmony.
Yeah.
They're not all crammed into one spot. So we'll kind of probably base it on where our room is that sounds good at the time.
Ray agrees with Rick. He's like a kid at Christmas when it comes to cruising too. He can't wait.
Yeah, it's hard. And I'm going to struggle with getting this done this way, but I still want to really try it.
Yeah. Attila said first step on the ship is the best. Status step is getting off and stepping on the gangway. I always take the departing photo, video, and then I see it later and get sad again. Yeah, I do too. Texas Cruiser says I always use port parking garages. They take excellent care of my vehicle and give me loyalty discounts, drops us off at the terminal.
I just like walking right there.
Yeah. Bob says, I will say the worst crowd when boarding was around 12:30 for us. Much prefer 10:30 to 11.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
later people are coming on.
Well, based on that, we could have the complete opposite experience I think we're going to have, and it could be actually worse.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll have a video going, dang, I was wrong. Never doing this again.
It'll be like this.
Oh, would you joking me? No, I told you this was wrong answer.
Texas is laughing at James. Nellie said, yes, Attila, I am weird. The last night I walked the ship to reminisce.
Well, I do that every day.
Yeah.
4 a.m. in the morning, usually, walking the ship.
C says, okay, now cruise talk. I booked on Carnival Jubilee several weeks ago for a balcony cabin. Today, I upgraded to an ocean suite. Love it.
Awesome. I've heard some people from, Carnival are getting, they get the offers to upgrade.
Yeah.
And they've been decently priced from what I've been seeing from people.
Nellie
so
says,
that's a cool upgrade, though.
Nellie says, Rick and I agree again. Port parking for the win. It's gonna snow.
Yeah, it's getting scary in here.
Alien said, I'm still trying to score a slice of that sail away cheesecake. I'm getting on board as soon as possible.
That's true. Now, if you're getting on Carnival and you want that sail away confetti cheesecake, that makes sense.
Yes.
But since we're going on Royal and they don't have the confetti cheesecake, I'm okay with a little bit later.
Yeah. Cruising Karen says on Virgin voyages, the rooms are ready when you check in. Of course, they have later check-in times like 1:45 to 4. Nellie says, Alien, does the Carnival cheesecake run out on first day? Yes.
It can. That confetti cheesecake is, and to be honest with you, it's not the best tasting thing in the world. Used to be better when it was round.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more like a sheet cake.
Well, I found a recipe for it. I see why it's not that great.
And so it's not like it's the best tasting thing, but it's more like a traditional sort of thing. It's kind of become the Embarkation thing for one of the things for Carnival. They really only serve it on Embarkation Day. And even though I know it's not going to be the absolute best tasting dessert on Carnival, I eat it on Embarkation Day too.
I think that's going to be our next recipe.
The confetti cheesecake. You guys heard it here. It is a new month. It is coming up for another cooking video from Tiffany.
Yes.
And I am willing to, for you guys, I'm going to do this for y'all, okay? I wouldn't do it for anybody else. I'm willing to eat this confetti cheesecake. It's like throwing myself on the grenade.
Yes.
That's because I care.
Attila says agree. Get a restaurant for Embarkation Day if you are able to. Texas says on the Oasis class ships on Embarkation Day, we always go to the Solarium Bistro. Not nearly as crowded as the Windjammer. The same food. Alien says yes, Nelly. The special cheesecake is only on Embarkation Day. I've never gotten any.
I've had it. That's because somebody like me had like 3 pieces.
Somebody like you.
Okay, it was me. I'm not gonna lie, it was me.
Texas says I always get a slice of the sail away cake on the royal ships on Embarkation Day. You know, we have never done that.
I can honestly say I don't know what the sail away cake is on Royal Caribbean.
We've taken pictures of it.
Oh,
it's the big cake that's they cut into, and
we've never eaten it.
No.
Okay, but that's Royal Caribbean's fault. That's not my fault.
Yes.
Okay, they put out other good desserts. You know what I mean? How am I supposed to pick? You know, by the time I've eaten my 5th one, I'm full. I just never made it to the cake.
Yeah. Seawood is saying, what is your take on Faster the Fun? Obviously, I don't need it because I am in a suite, but do you think it is fair to get it? Because I hear a lot of diamonds and platinums upset about it. We've used it once.
Yeah, we can only give you our experience and our opinion. And for us, it did absolutely nothing. It gave us nothing that whatsoever that we found useful.
We got on the ship a little faster. That was it.
Not by much.
Not by much either, because by the time they let all
the diamonds, the platinums, and the suites get on first, then Faster the Fun, then the first group. We're usually in the first or second group anyway when we book early, so that didn't get us much.
Yeah. Disembarking on port days
didn't really feel a whole lot much there. We didn't honestly get anything out of it. Of course, we're not in a rush. We're not in a hurry. We don't have to be first at doing something, and even with Faster the Fun, you're not. I didn't get anything out of it, and we've never bought any type of plan since then. We don't buy Faster the Fun. We don't buy the key or any of that because, honestly, I've never seen a cost to benefit that lands in our favor.
Yeah. At cruising, Karen at Texas Cruiser, thanks for the tip about the solarium for Embarkation Day. We will be on Harmony in June. Yeah, we're gonna have to remember that one.
Well, they're all gonna be with us. Okay,
yeah. Attila says, "Give me the cheesecake grenade, Chris. I'll fall on it for you."
See, we're all willing to take the cheesecake grenade.
Steve says, "Chris, that means you need to pace yourself on the cake thing."
Not on cruise. Not per meal.
He does pace himself. He gets 3 at a time for each meal.
Yeah, that's per meal. See, I go on a diet and bring my weight down prior to getting on the ship, just so I know I have the excess capacity for by the time I get off.
Yeah. Cruising Karen says, yeah, Faster the Fun is a ripoff, and it's why I don't purchase the key on Royal.
I don't. People love it. They ask for it. They demand it. They want it. Good for them. I personally, we didn't get anything from it. Nothing from the experience made us go, wow, we must have this again. Nothing.
Seawood says, I prefer the embarkation process and disembarkation on Royal Caribbean versus Carnival.
I do too.
Yes.
I do too.
Texas Cruiser says, on Harmony, if you want a casual lunch during the sailing, go to Park Cafe located in Central Park. Very good food. It's great for grab and go too.
Yeah. Roast beef with horseradish sauce.
Yep. Horsey sauce. Bob says, I can attest to the Solarium Bistro. Tilla said, Faster the Fun gives you priority boarding on tender boats, which we never used either. Not in a big rush to get off anymore. And if we have an early AM excursion, we go first anyway.
Exactly. We figured that out too, that they're going to rush the tenders. And if you just wait and let the first few tenders go, you walk down and get on. Or if you have an excursion, you get on when your excursion gets on. Yeah. not worth spending money to be extra crowded.
Yeah. Steve says, I agree with you about the key when it comes to the shows. It seems you can get better seats without the key.
I just get for Royal Caribbean, we just get in line early and sit wherever we want. I'd much rather stand in line for 30, 40 minutes to get the exact seat I want for filming purposes than to pay for it and not get the exact seats I want.
See this tip, take the cake back to the cabin. We've done that. Well, it's mostly cookies. I take the cookies.
Cake is not going to make it back to my cabin.
He'll eat it on the way down.
Yeah. Beautiful idea. Awesome idea. Lots of people do that. And it'd be great to have a snack later. The problem is me and Cake, well, we don't make it back to the cabin together. One of us has to go. And it's the Cake.
Nellie says the key is costly for no reason. Alien says, I don't know if I'd pay for Faster to the Fun, but I'm definitely looking forward to earlier Embarkation when we reach Platinum.
Yeah, no, a loyalty perk, if it's going to let you on early, awesome. But to pay for it, I don't know how I feel about it. Just,
Chris says the only time I have had buffet on Embarkation Day was on MSC. On Royal, I go to Park Cafe and get my Royal Kummel-Wick, the roast beef.
The roast beef. With the horsey sauce.
She said also the key lunch is not that great.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the key came with a meal.
Cruising Karen at Texas. I have written this information in my binder. This is only our second time on Royal, so that info is appreciated. Attila says, I tell you that tender boats are soon going to be a thing of the past with these giant ships. If they put a proper dock in Grand Cayman, it's a boom for them.
Hopefully they vote for it. I know they're supposed to be voting on that and making their final decisions on that. But yeah, that's why the large cruise ships don't go to ports like Grand Cayman, because of the tendering situation. Can you imagine trying to tender 8,000 people off a ship?
By the time if you were the last people off, it's time to turn around and come back. C says, no, you eat a piece of cake at the restaurant. Eat one on the way back to the cabin. And then you have a piece in the cabin.
Maybe. I still think that could be touch and go.
If you eat all that cake before you get to the cabin, then I have no answers for you.
Me and cruise desserts, we're not friends. I see them, they get eaten. It's like cake in the wild. I saw it. I had to take it. I'm a hunter.
There you go. Texas Cruiser said, Chris, that roast beef in Park Cafe is awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have multiple of those things on every cruise. I will eat them multiple days. That is, I'm telling you, they're like this big because Tiffany has to be with me. But they're not very big. But man, they are delicious. I don't know why. But they hit the spot, and it's bun, meat, some horseradish sauce. It's not even super fancy, but boy, they're good.
James wants to know where we're staying before the cruise.
Tiffany and I are going to stay at, we believe, Moody Gardens.
Yes.
There we go. Tiffany wants to go see the aquarium and the animals and all that kind of good stuff. And there's a resort attached to it. And so I believe we're going to stay there.
We haven't checked the prices yet, but that's our goal. That's our plan.
They're always pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Texas Cruiser Karen, do not miss the Aqua Show on Harmony. It is out of this world. And that was all caps. So I would listen.
Well, you haven't even seen an Aqua Show in person yet, so you definitely need to go see that.
Attila said that's why when you reach a Dream or Vista class Carnival ship, that's the tender boats are soon limit. Bigger than that, it's impossible. Oh, he's fixing. Chris, circling back to the previous comment, the cabins aren't ready when you board early, but my drink package is on Royal anyway. Seawood. So Project A for Carnival's new ship class will hold 8,000 passengers, and that does not even include crew.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they're saying 8,000 passengers. Unless they're wording it wrong and they mean 8,000 total, but they said 8,000 passengers. So I'm thinking that ship is you're probably looking at a total of almost 10,000 ish, plus or minus, by the time you add crew.
I'm thinking that's a hard no. Alien said it's cool when the city you cruise or out of has things to do. We cruise out of Baltimore mostly, and that's not a city I'd want to spend much time in.
We haven't been to Baltimore.
Cruising Karen says, with the exception of creme brulee, I can pass on desserts. To me, they aren't great. I hate that chocolate melting cake, a fan favorite.
It's actually not my personal favorite from Carnival either. If I'm picking from Carnival, it's the banana cream pie at Sea Day Brunch. And what's my other one, baby? You know what it is.
Alaskan.
Baked Alaska. But the banana cream pie at Sea Day Brunch, if I'm actually going to pick from Carnival, I would take that. But I saw that on a couple of their dinner menus too. That's them trying to trick me into going and eating in the main dining room.
Yeah.
Or it's your way of tricking me to go eating in the main dining room.
Attila says full capacity, 8,000 at 2 people per room. If you add 2 kids, it'll be more. Yikes. Nellie says, Alien, are you out of Baltimore? This one coming up. Carolyn, hello, just got off work. Sorry for the late arrival. Chris, you continue to crack us up with your daily announcements. And thank you for the super sticker.
Yes, thank you very much. We really, really appreciate that. That will go into Tiffany's Cruising Coffee Fund. She is more than happy to have a mocha latte cinnamon lavender frappe, whatever the heck, on a ship.
Steve says, one thing I noticed, the life jackets are not in the cabins on Royal Caribbean cruise ships.
Correct.
They're all in the bunkers down by the muster stations now.
That's true. They have taken them out of the cabins.
Cruising Karen says, Tiffany, remind Chris that y'all are going to the Sunflower Cafe for breakfast. You'll be glad you did.
We're going to the Sunflower Cafe for breakfast. Okay.
That's the one I've been telling you I've been wanting to go to for years.
Is that that bakery?
Yes.
Oh, you should. I don't know its name.
Nellie says they are in the closets. Or
James, you want to go to the Sunflower Cafe Bakery the morning of the cruise?
Helga Diaz, that's a new name. Welcome. The aqua shows on Royal are amazing. Enjoy your live show. Have a great time on Harmony.
Oh, we're going to have a great time. We got a little group going.
Yes.
Which means we're going to be having fun.
Yes.
Not that we wouldn't have fun anyway, but we're going to be having extra fun.
C says, would it look weird to the other passengers if I embarked on the cruise ship with a life jacket on?
Well, you know what? I've seen some of the things that other people wear, so probably not as bad as you think.
No, I mean, I've seen them walking around with the Bucky Beaver costumes on and the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I've seen inflatable dinosaurs getting on and off. So, yeah, probably no, not so much. We'd like pictures of that for Facebook, though.
Yes, very much so. Alien at Nellie. Yeah, Baltimore is the nearest port to us. Nellie says, when I was on Mariner, the jackets were in closet. That was January 27th.
I think it's the bigger ships. I know because other people, I've seen the comments before. I usually don't go looking for them, but they're like, how is it safe not to have the life jackets in the room? And
it seems like it would be safer to have them next to the muster station, because if you're not in your room, you got to run all the way back to your room, then run back to the muster station.
Well, they keep extras at the muster stations anyway in case you couldn't get back to your room. So it kind of, to me, makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
They do their thing.
Texas Cruiser says Sunflower on 14th. Yes, the 14th Street Bakery, the one that I've been trying to get him to go to for years, and he's like, eh.
No, that's actually perfect because the parking lot that we're going to is on 14th Street. So we can just go all the way down to 14th Street, take a left, hit the cafe, keep going down 14th Street, we run into the parking lot. That works.
James agrees. Sounds good to him. Breakfast is a good start.
Maybe Tiffany won't be so hungry when she gets on the ship.
It's a possibility. Cruising Karen, when is the group cruise? Is that what you are talking about?
No. So the group cruise is until 2026. Here in August the 16th, us, James, Nellie, and his mom, and I think Rick, we're all going to be on the Harmony at the same time.
But the group cruise is October of 2026.
Yeah, of October 2026. This one is coming up in this August, and it's just people that book the same cruise, and we're going to hang out.
Yes. Nellie said it's not the group cruise. We just all happen to be getting on the same cruise. Texas Cruiser, I know you will have a fantastic cruise on Harmony at Cruising Karen. Seawood, the Allure, and Harmony were not in the room. Oh, the life jackets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alien, it's Cruising Karen. The official group cruise is October 8th, right? 2026. I think that's it.
Okay. They know better than I do.
Attila says MSC World America is sailing out of Miami this week, and Galveston gets the MSC ship this November. Super cool stuff. Yeah, the MSC ship in Galveston is we're going to be on that one.
Yeah, we'll be on the inaugural sailing of that one, November 7th or 9th. Yeah. Boy, I cannot keep my dates right.
Chris says enjoy the Grease show on Harmony.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. It's always been one of the weirdest things about cruising. I do not like theater production. You will not catch me going down to the local theater to see a show, but I do not miss these shows on these cruise ships. I was sailing on Allure. Allure of the Seas. I was cruising solo because I know not everybody's heard this story. And they had the show on there was Mamma Mia. And Tiffany's like, don't go see that show. You're not going to like it. That's not for you. I wouldn't even go if I were you. You know, you're by yourself. I said, I'm going to go check it out. Went and saw Mamma Mia all by myself. Loved it. I love production shows on cruise ships. So, and you like Grease.
Yes.
And so, I think it's good. We're definitely going to go see Grease on Harmony.
Yeah. Francis says the Aqua shows are great. Enjoy. C said, so August is when you are going to the Sunflower Bakery and Cafe. Yes.
Yes. So that'll be the morning of August the 16th. We'll be at the Sunflower Bakery and Cafe because Tiffany has been on my butt many, many times about going to this bakery. And see, now we can use the bakery breakfast as a way to stall me from heading to the cruise ship so early.
Yes. There you go.
See, it works.
Alien says, time for me to hit the old dusty trail. All smash the like button. It is free to do so. Cruise on.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that.
Mamma Mia was amazing.
Yeah, it was such a good show. But you'd never catch me on land going to see that.
Yeah. No.
Put me on a ship, I'm in the front row to see Mamma Mia.
I tried to get him to go see the Beauty and the Beast production, and he's like, no, absolutely not.
But if we were on a cruise ship, I'd be in the front row.
Yeah, he would. Cruising Karen at High Seas Cruising. Chris, do you know if one of the 3 new Carnival Excel ships are coming to Galveston?
No. So the Festival is going to Port Canaveral. They have not announced where the Tropical is going yet. Chance, I would say probably not because we got the Jubilee. I don't think we'll get one of the new ones. Not anytime soon.
James says at Cruising Karen, just some of us on the Harmony of the Seas, August 16th. Bob says, agree. Mamma Mia has been the best show I've seen.
Mamma Mia was good.
C says, FYI, the Grease show is exactly like the movie. So if you have little kids, the language and some other stuff, not really great for them. Not a problem for adults and less easily offended by language.
I am totally offended by language.
C wants to know what we're going to get from the Sunflower Bakery. I've never been there, so I don't know. But do you have a recommendation?
Bacon?
Cruising Karen says, get to the Sunflower early. Parking is limited.
We've driven by it, and it's a pretty small little place.
Yeah.
So we will definitely do that, though. Do they have bacon?
I don't know. We've never been there. I've asked. You always say no.
Yeah, you're right. I'm absolutely not offended. Not whatsoever. I was in the Army way too long to be offended by language. You know, not whatsoever. And we won't have any little kids with us.
No, they're all grown.
Yeah, as long as it's not scary. If it's scary, Tiffany covers her eyes.
And I've seen Grease enough that I can almost recite it line for line. Recommend the barbacoa omelet. Oh, that sounds good.
Mm.
That sounds really good.
But it's a bakery, right?
Yeah.
So they should have something freshly
And
baked.
cafe.
Oh, yeah, but they should have something freshly baked.
Yeah.
Will it be a confetti cheesecake?
No.
A baked Alaska?
Awesome.
Okay. You know, I'll be thinking cruise. I have a hard time eating right before we get on a cruise because I know that there's a ship full of food right at the end of the road. But we'll go.
Cruising Karen says, I love the eggs Benedict, my favorite. However, everything on the menu is good and the portions are large. Steve says they have great crepes. I love crepes too. I don't like pancakes though, which is weird, but I like crepes.
Yeah, because crepes are just really skinny pancakes.
Yeah, but eggs Benedict, little secret. The only time I eat eggs Benedict is on a cruise.
It's true.
I never eat them any other time.
You never ask for them any other time. I mean, we've seen them other places, but you hit a cruise ship and you're like, eggs Benedict for me.
Yeah.
It's like your cruise thing.
Go to.
It's almost like a tradition for you now.
Yeah. Kind of like the saltwater taffy.
Like the saltwater taffy, which we will have to obviously get in before you get on Harmony.
Yeah. It's been over a year since we've been there.
That's true.
C says, I have not tried the grilled cinnamon roll yet.
A grilled cinnamon roll, you now have my attention. I was happy until that, but now I heard grilled cinnamon roll.
Texas Cruiser says, I try to get something different every time I go to Sunflower and have never been disappointed.
All right, so I'm thinking we're going to have a really good breakfast that morning.
Yes.
Which is going to be good because the last time we ate breakfast in Galveston, it was...
And I have a really good feeling you're going to look at me and say, we should have tried this sooner. Cruising Karen says, me too. I only eat them on cruises and at restaurants, but I can make them. Just don't. I've never even attempted to make it because I saw how they make it and I'm like, I'm going to wind up with boiling water all over me.
So, oh God, it's been over an hour already.
Yes.
All right, so I guess we will get ready to wind it on down for the day. See, we get talking about food and restaurants and all the things we can eat. Today we cover a lot of good stuff around cruise ports.
Rick and Nellie agreeing on
yeah, plus those two. Did they just agree again?
Nellie says, maybe I will invite myself to eat with y'all at the cafe. You'll have to invite yourself. You just come on.
Yeah, just come
You're
on.
invited. If Cruising Royal takes the time to reserve the ice show, you'll not be disappointed.
Like, yeah, I had a reservation last time I was there.
Yeah.
And I still get I get to those places early so I can pick my seat.
Yeah.
But I've got this slim hope, because we're gonna have a neighborhood balcony cabin. And the Aqua Show is in the neighborhood. And our cabin, of course, will be facing. There's a chance, slim, that we might be able to just like look over the balcony and see it every time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nellie said that was my wedding gift from Rick to agree with me.
Oh.
And Rick, you can come to the Sunflower Cafe with us too.
Of course, everybody come to the Sunflower.
Everybody just come. We'll just, yeah. All right, James says, good night, everybody. Be safe. Have a great rest of the week.
Yeah, because Nellie, I know James was asking me a couple of days ago, do you have any excursions or things you want to do in like Costa Maya, Cozumel, anything like that? just in case everybody wants to do the same thing.
Yeah, just let us
We
know.
were thinking Paradise Beach in Cozumel, but because we'd never been and we had such a good time at
Sancho's.
Mr. Sancho. So if you got some ideas on that, to throw it our way. And of course, everybody can do whatever they want to, naturally.
Nellie says, we are going to paradise.
Yeah, going to Coco Key. They have really good brownies. Jeez, I sound like a fat person. They have really good brownies at the lunch on the island.
All right, guys.
I've got a problem. I need a 12-step program for desserts, apparently. But is that one?
Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the week and be safe. The Astros still suck. And yes, I am an Astros fan. That's what is so bad about it.
So I'll tell you a good sports story before we go. I know we're leaving. We had to go to the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, where the Cowboys play. Our son was playing in basically Pop Warner Pee Wee football, and they had the opportunity to play in Cowboy Stadium. And then we had the opportunity to go down and walk on the field. There were some folks that were not real happy when I went and stood in the Cowboys end zone and yelled it pretty much as loud as I could. Look, I'm in the end zone longer than the Cowboys have ever been. So, anyway, hopefully we didn't offend any Cowboys fans. But thank you, everybody, for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Love doing these lives. Love having everybody here in all of the conversation. We will be back next week. I understand people got cruises, all kinds of things going on.
Have fun on those cruises.
Have fun on your cruises. Feel free to post pictures over on Facebook. Everybody gets a kick out of seeing that stuff. Gets everybody a little bit jealous. But everybody have yourself a really great night. And like always,
we'll see you out on the high seas.
Good night, everybody.